Did you know his wife, Andrea? Did you ever meet her?
Absolutely. I recall majority of people on there lying. Everybody's like telling half truth. They're not telling the truth.
So
Andrea was a dancer, so you couldn't really interact with her. But at the end of the day, she knew. That's what I'll say. She knew how it was going.
Do you believe any of it?
Do I believe it?
Mm-hmm.
I believe wholeheartedly that whatever it is that he's done and or doing, he's no different than any other person on this planet that has done it. Because I know, and I've got one person in particular.
Earl quit because he was on the tour bus one day, I guess sleep or whatever he said, and he heard something happening in the back of the bus, and he kind of, I think he said he heard duct tape or something going over the vent. It's a vent at the bottom of the tour bus door.
Okay, so at what point of your interaction with R. Kelly was the assassination attempt that you talk about in the docu-series trailer? What happened, what the deal was, and everything like that?
The short of it is,
this gets extremely juicy, so I want you guys to grab some popcorn. I want you guys to sit back and grab your tea and get ready for all of the juice that is included in this interview. Before I get started, I want you guys to know that the word allegedly applies to the entire interview. Every single word is alleged, okay? But these are the accounts of R. Kelly's group Public Announcement, and these are their words, not mine. But it's interesting.
Hey, what's up? It's your girl Neek, and you're tuned in to Neek at Night. And tonight I have a very, very special interview for you guys. I've been talking about this whole R. Kelly situation. I did an interview with other parties involved with the whole R. Kelly story, and I've been trying to get to the truth of the matter, and I wanted you guys to know the truth when you decided to form your opinion. My last video talking about this whole R. Kelly situation was me talking about one of the members in Public Announcement, whose name is Earl, who was also married to Sparkle, and how he talked about how him and Sparkle were married and she was messing around with R. Kelly. Well, since I did that video, Public Announcement reached out to me personally to tell their side of the story, and I have them with me today, and I'm going to get down to the bottom of it. Now, when I talk about getting to the bottom of things, that's me simply wanting to know the full story. When I watched the docuseries, it seemed one-sided, but for me, I like to hear all sides. I want to know what led up to it. I want to know how this happened, and how that happened. So I'm happy to have somebody like Public Announcement, who was there, be able to shed light on the situation and give their truths. And we can all get down to the nitty-gritty of this together. So without further ado, I'm going to introduce to you guys two of the members of Public Announcement, and they are Rick and Dre, and there they are on the screen, you guys. So give them a warm welcome. Hello, Dre. Hello, Rick. Thank you guys for doing the interview with me. Hey. I really appreciate it.
Hey.
So for those of you guys,
how are you doing this evening?
I'm doing great. Y'all, they already had me laughing already off of camera. And now we about to go live and get to the nitty gritty of it. I done got so many laughs, and I'm sorry, but we gonna enjoy this interview together with my audience. So for some of you guys who don't know, R. Kelly had this group that was associated with him called Public Announcement. I'm going to show you guys their photo. That is them right there with R. Kelly.
A great welcome, ladies and gentlemen, for R. Kelly and Public Announcement.
I don't think we really even understood what was really happening because we were so young.
Give it up for R. got to the point where everything was a competition.
That was a big mistake because we didn't quite understand the whole thing of paper. We were so happy to be there, man.
That there had been an assassination put out on dude, and I was used as the guinea pig, and that let me know I was expendable.
Rick is here, and he's gonna clear that up about what happened with the assassination attempt and everything like that. So without further ado, I want to start off with you guys letting the people know how it is that you met R. Kelly. And I guess I'll start with Dre.
We were a group before we met him, and we were doing shows all around Chicago, and he was with a group called R. Kelly and MGM. Okay. And they had just won Natalie Cole's Big Break prior to us meeting him. And we had done all the talent shows we could do. They stopped letting us do that because we kept winning. And so finally we said, we're going to go to Cotton Club. And the Cotton Club was like a real popular spot. And Bernie Mac was hosting. R. Kelly would come through. Just everybody who was very talented would go through that. So we decided to do that. Mm-hmm. And we seen them there. We were dressed, everything, you know what I'm saying, ready to perform. But the list was so long that I don't even think we were even going to get a chance to perform. So he saw us, and he was like, you guys sing and dance? We was like, yeah. You know what I mean? And he was like, well, come in the bathroom real quick. Piss on the floor, nasty bathroom. And he was like, sing something. Mm-hmm. He was like, let me see y'all dance. And then we did that. And then at that point, he was like, look, tomorrow meet me at Presidential Towers, wear all black. So we didn't really know like where this was going to go, but he was like a little bit ahead of us at that point because he had been on Natalie Cole's Big Break. He had a single out, this, that, and the third. So we was like, okay, let's go. So we got there, we rehearsed, did routines and, the whole thing. And at that point, after that, we started rehearsing on a regular. Mm-hmm. And it was like, we was rehearsing, I think it was on 47th Street, Lakeshore Drive, like in a big parking lot. And Earl used to drive his old school Camaro up there and put the 12, the 12s on top of the car, you know what I mean?
The speakers.
And, yeah, speakers on top of the car, and we would play the music, and we would go through full routines that we actually did on real shows. These were our routines that we kept. Mm-hmm. So at that point, it was probably 2-3 weeks later, we were taking pictures, and the next thing we knew, we were overseas doing sold out shows.
So you guys first seen him at this club. You guys decided to pretty much do an impromptu audition in the bathroom and everything like that. And then you guys, after that, ended up going on tour with him overseas.
Right.
Okay. So then after you guys went on tour with him, what happened next? Because in docu-series, stuff started to fall apart. I think it was Rick who said that stuff started to be like a competition all the time. And what started to happen?
What happened was there was always a competition, but it was a friendly competition. But the problem is that it became unnecessary. Mm-hmm. It was simple. If I was on one side of the stage and people were reaching at me, it was a matter of, okay, don't be so close to the other stage. Move back. It was petty. It was silly things like that. Whether we dressed alike or not, there was always a different ways we had to act, things that we could or could not do. Whether it was taking shine from you or giving you too much shine. It was always one of those things where we had a camp, but it became a dictatorship. Do this, don't do that. And it wasn't for ethical reasons. It wasn't for reasons where you could actually say, okay, that makes sense. It makes us look bad. It was more of a, no, I want to be here instead of that. Mm-hmm. Eventually, it started with all these little bitty small things, and after it starts small, it eventually gets bigger, and it just got to the point where not only was it useless, but it made it uncomfortable, and the broad stage that we would have, we'd be on stages that are 20 feet by 30 feet, and if you got 20 foot by 30 foot stage, that's a lot of space to encompass and perform on, And it went from having such a large stage and being able to perform on it to the size getting smaller and smaller, even though the stage stayed the same size, but the ability to perform like we wanted to, like we originally started, that became less. And then the touring schedule, it was hectic, but it was fun. The hip hop community, they accepted us with open arms. You know, everybody that you could think of that was hot in hip hop in the 90s, they welcomed us with open arms. However, the R&B field, there were a few people that were nice, but for the most part, we were outcasts because we came to work. We didn't play around with the whole, you know, let's be lazy. Let's just get whatever it is that we can get. No, we came from beginning to end and gave people a show.
And so, from my knowledge, you guys didn't have like paperwork. So, what was the terms of your agreement and everything like that? I guess I'll let Dre tell that part.
We didn't have no agreement.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, as I said in the piece, we were so happy to be there. You know what I'm saying? So we didn't even think about paperwork. We didn't know that night was going to happen. We didn't even really understand when we was rehearsing with them. We really didn't know what was going on. Nobody told us anything. Mm-hmm. And until like we saw ourselves on an album cover, and She's Got That Vibe album cover. And at that point, it was already done. We were already in it. So we didn't really, being that young, we didn't really want to make no waves because we was truly, truly happy to be there. So we was like, well, let's just do this. You know what I'm saying? We was getting a check. You know what I'm saying? So the check was cool, and we were out there. So that's all we really cared about. You know what I'm saying? And at that point, you know, we stopped being there and you know, having that opportunity that we never even thought of asking.
Mm-hmm. So y'all didn't have no paperwork, nothing set in stone to solidify you guys as what was your role with R. Kelly? Were you his backup dancers, his singers, a group? Like, what was your intended role with him? Like, you guys didn't have a paperwork agreement, but what was your verbal agreement with him?
But our verbal agreement was because after he had won Natalie Cole's Big Break it was R. Kelly and MGM. After they had won that, Rob kept 50% of the money and the whatever else they were offering. I think it was $100,000 in prizes and partly money. But anyway, he kept 50%. Mm-hmm. And he wanted them the other 50. And I think that made them mad, so they quit. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So at that point, in the process of that going on, his deal was getting done with Jive. And Jive didn't want to release him without a group. They wanted to start him off like that. Mm-hmm. So we knew that, you know, so he said, hey, come and do this with me. And then after that, I'll produce you guys. And that was our verbal agreement.
Okay, but so basically, he was supposed to sign with MGM as a group type of deal. But that fell through, so right. He needed a replacement group. And so he had you guys come in as the replacement group. And then his promise to you guys was, it's intended for me to start off as a group, but eventually, at some point, go solo? Or what was the promise for you guys aside?
At some point, he would go solo, and he would produce us as our own group, as public announcement coming out. That was the agreement. You know, we already knew he was going to go solo. We had that totally understood. So, but this is what he promised us. He said, hey, well, y'all come do this with me. Then after that, I'll produce you.
Too many small things, too many small details that were overlooked. And I understand that, you know, Rob was the go-to guy. He was the breadwinner. He was the one that everybody came to see. And I understand that we were support, but you still need to take care of your people.
Right.
And for all these years that we haven't said anything, we haven't done anything. You know, we were releasing something because there are people out there that actually want to hear about us. They want to hear what happened to it, what we did or did not do, how successful we were or weren't. You know, and just the fact to put out what we originally planned on, which was just doing good music. You know, we never got the opportunity to do that. And I don't mind being the guy that trusts you until you show me that, you know, you're untrustworthy. But that's basically what it ended up being.
So there was no paperwork. So Okay, so Rick, you left, and then Dre, you ended up staying.
Yep, yep. I ended up staying. Rick left much later because Earl left before that. Earl left like like almost right out the gate, and that's because he came to me and said that he had seen some stuff, and and he left. And then Rob asked me. He said, "Hey, where's Earl?" I'm like, "He left." He's like, "Why did he leave?" I'm like, "He said he saw you, blah blah blah."
What's blah blah
And,
blah?
I mean, we might have to just let that be, what I'm saying, in the fool you did. But he said basically, I seen him doing this.
Well,
So
okay,
Rob
so
asked me. He said,
in your docu-series trailer, Earl was on there, and after you guys talked about the assassination attempt, then Earl talks about how he's seen R. Kelly in the back of the bus, and like y'all don't know what he's doing back there, blah blah. And the Surviving R. Kelly docu-series, Javante also talks about him in the back of the bus, but she says that he was in the back of the bus with Aaliyah. Is this the same incident with Aaliyah that Earl seen, or is this something else that he saw?
And that's basically why I left the group, because I just felt that was sick. It was something that I couldn't believe. And I ran out the tour bus and I grabbed Dre. And I pulled him to the side. And I was letting him know, like, man, you know what dude doing in the back? He was like, man, what? I'm like,
Earl quit because he was on the tour bus one day, I guess sleep or whatever he said, and he heard something happening in the back of the bus, and he kind of, I think he said he heard duct tape or something going over the vent. It's a vent at the bottom of the tour bus door.
Okay.
And he peeped through that and back there doing whatever he was doing. And then he came and got me. He said, hey man, you know what dude doing back there? I'm like, what? And then he told me, and then he was like, I'm out. And he left.
I just felt that was sick.
He seen R. Kelly back there doing something. So you said that according to him, he was duct taping the vent off. So what is it that he actually saw, and who did he see him with?
He said he saw him messing around with Aaliyah.
So Earl said he seen him in the back with Aaliyah. And this was...
Yeah.
Do you know if this was before the marriage, after the marriage?
This I believe was before.
So from Earl seeing him messing with Aaliyah, he decided that he didn't want to deal with it. Like he wanted to be out of the group. So he quit. So then you guys...
No, he really just left.
He was done.
Yeah, he was done. He left.
Oh, okay. So as far as R. Kelly and the girls, did you see, because you said you didn't see the incident with him and Aaliyah, but you were there. Were you there when he was recording with Aaliyah? Like, did you interact like their relation? Like, did you see their interaction as far as relationship wise and everything like that?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I saw that, but it was always somebody there. Either Barry Hankerson was there or a brother was there. Certain things that happen between them or between anybody that everybody is a legend, these young girls, I was never there to see that. He made sure of that. He made sure I was never around to see anything inappropriate, none of that. I never saw none of that. Now, was it girls around? Of course. Come on, man. You know it's girls around. Mm-hmm. But never nobody that I would actually look at and say, this might be odd.
Uh-huh. So,
I never
so when he was dealing with Aaliyah, you didn't think that it was odd because Aaliyah's uncle Barry was around and her brother was around and other family members were around. So you didn't think that their interaction was odd to you. What about...
Right, it was impossible to even put that up in my brain because her uncle was there and her brother. So why would I even think that this man, this grown man, is going to mess with this child in front of the uncle and the brother? I couldn't have put it together. It was impossible.
So when Earl told you that he seen him messing with Aaliyah, then did you see anything after that? Like, what happened after that?
Well, after that, it wasn't like she came out on the road with us all the time. She just happened to be there then. And then I'm saying to myself, well, he don't really mess with you like that, Earl. So how do I know you even telling the truth?
Oh, okay. So you thought that Earl could have been lying because they weren't at odds.
Yeah, because I didn't see. Yeah, because I didn't see it with my own eyes. So I'm like, is he telling the truth or is he mad because Rob ain't treating him 100?
Mm-hmm. So you thought he just was saying something and it probably just was another rumor.
No, I mean, I didn't know if it was or not, but it didn't give me enough oomph to say something is going on. I'm out of here too. I mean, I didn't feel like that.
Right. So you felt like you can't trust exactly what he's saying because he could have malice in his intentions on telling you that just to get you to leave with him. You didn't want to mess up your situation with R. Kelly. So you're like, I didn't see it. I don't see nothing strange. I see her family around, so I don't think nothing of it. Pretty much that's what you're saying.
Exactly.
Okay.
So Earl left, and Rob actually said to me, he said, why did he leave because of that? I mean, it don't affect his check. So I was like, well, I don't know. So he was like, well, because he left, I'm going to pay you the same thing I was paying him plus what I'm paying you. Mm-hmm. So I'm like, oh, okay. I mean, you know what I'm saying? I was cool with that, whatever. And, and then, me and Rick were still there, but things were still like kind of crazy. And then, I want to let Rick explain the rest of this, but he kind of got fed up with what was going on, and then he left.
Okay, so at what point of your interaction with R. Kelly was the assassination attempt that you talk about in the docu-series trailer? You talk about how you go out and they pretty much use you, and I had it kind of mixed up when I talked about it. So from you, I want to know what your accounts of it is. What happened, what the deal was, and everything like that.
Well, that unfortunate incident happened. It was around about the time allegations. He was being accused of things like that with the young girls. It was allegations about that, and I didn't watch a lot of television, so I didn't really know about the news and things like that and what was being said and what was being publicized. So one day, we were I think it was the BET Awards that we were doing. I know it was somewhere in LA, but it was beautiful out.
Security came in, two of the guys that came in and said, put this on, we're going to go over to the venue. I put it on because I figured it was our uniform. Mm-hmm. So I thought, I didn't have the hood. They said, could you please put the hood on? I'm like, yeah. They take me through this beautiful outdoor atrium. Mm-hmm. Down to the dressing room. I get in the dressing room. There's nobody there. I'm like, where's everybody at? They're like, oh, they'll be here in a minute. Shortly thereafter, 20 minutes or so, all the guys come in. They're like, where you been? I'm like, I've been in here waiting for you. Mm-hmm. Well, so we do the BET Awards and, we have a good time with those people. And afterwards, I want to say about a week or so, maybe a week or two later.
One of the guys pulled me to the side and said, look, just so you know, there was an assassination put out on Rob. There was an attempt. He received a letter saying, you did this, you did that, and you're going to pay for it. And, they wanted to see if it would actually fly, if the guy was going to make good on it, whoever it is, if they were going to make good on it. So that's why you were dressed that way, because we're about the same build and things of that nature. So they walked me through that, and if I had gotten hurt, then that would have been proof that it was serious.
Okay. So basically, he had a hit out on him, so they put you in the uniform that he's supposed to wear, had you walk out, and because you were okay, they was like, okay, well, he didn't die, so now we can put out R. Kelly.
Yeah.
At that point, you're like, it's time for me to part ways, because if they're willing to use me as a guinea pig and don't really care about my life, then,
It was several things. It wasn't just one thing. It was the constant. Okay, I'll give you an instance. We are doing really well, and when I say really well, and extremely well. But the problem is, why do I need to be a roommate with somebody when our name is on a billboard? I don't want a room with somebody. I want my own room. That was a constant problem. So I decided to do some math. How much is it per room where we're staying? So at that point, I said, I tell you what, instead of me staying at a 5-star hotel with you guys, put me at a 3-star, put me at a 2-star hotel. So now you're saving money, but I get my own room, and now I don't have to worry about somebody coming in at 2, 3, I don't know, 5, 6 in the morning. I have to get you taking care of you, coming in my room, trying to waking me up. I didn't want to be bothered with that, and that's just something you don't do. I didn't want to go and play ball till the wee hours of the morning or until we left there to go straight on stage to work. The work conditions became silly. You know, it was tit for tat, and it didn't make sense to me. I didn't mind not going to the after parties. I didn't mind not doing all these glamorous things. I didn't mind staying in my room until it was time to work. So I treated it like a job. However, that wasn't always respected. You know, I remember getting into arguments about what we're wearing, which was silly. If everybody's wearing black, white, and red, but I decided to accent the white or the red while I was at an argument. And it became silly, and management took a big role in trying to defend him. You know, I never had an argument with him, but management started getting in the way, started trying to take over and push me around, and it was stupid. And then why would I have to go to this man to get management to act right? You know, I don't care if you're the road manager, I don't care if you're the assistant manager. Doing something by the book is just doing something by the book. And I knew enough at that point to say, here's what's right, here's what's wrong. And God was gifting me to be able to talk to them without flaring up, without being ignorant. So in the process of doing that, when he granted me the ability to understand that they were not going to change, that management was going to be the way that they were, and that it was solely about Rob, that's when it was time to go. So even though I did leave, I did come back 2-3 years later on a different tour a couple times, but when I saw that was that, why go back when you're not going to be treated fairly, when you're not respected? So that was the actual end of it.
Okay, so basically, Rob was the main act, and then they were just treating you guys like accessories, pretty much. In so many words. That's what you're saying? And you felt like you weren't being respected. You didn't, it was just silly things. You guys were making enough money to be able to level up, and I don't want to roommate with people anymore. I'm a grown man. I want my own privacy now, and it was just little things like that to where you just decided to go your own way.
It was time. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let me give you another story of, okay. On Lifetime, Sparkle is constantly saying, okay, I went with a friend and I met him through Billy, I saw he was producing Billy Ocean. And then the next time she says she meets him, she just ended up there. Mm-hmm. That's a lie. You didn't end up there. Mm-hmm. Me and your husband, Earl, did your demo tape. Okay. That's what we did. We produced a bunch of hot records for her. I wrote them. Earl majorly did the tracks. And Earl said, take this to Kales, because he was gone. Okay. Earl was already out of the picture. He said, take this to Rob. I say, dude, do you really want to do this? And he's like, yeah, it's going to be good. It's going to be good. This is my wife. I say, if we do this, Earl, she's never coming back.
So you knew if she left with R. Kelly and hooked up with him, she was going to be gone.
Yeah, and that's exactly what she did. I took the tape to dude. He played it. He said, oh, this is dope. He said, but look, Dre, I can't. I got to do this by myself. I say, what? He said, yeah, I got to produce this on my own. And I was like, oh, okay. And then he was like, but look, if she come down here and do this, she gonna have to sleep on this couch for 30 days to complete her album.
And
so no Earl to complete her album, Sparkle's album.
No, but I'm saying sleep where? At the studio? At his house? Where was she supposed to sleep at?
On the couch in the studio.
Oh, okay. And that's to make sure she was serious, or?
Yeah, because really, okay, just think for a second. Earl left because of what he said he saw.
Okay.
Now he has an opportunity to have his wife come down there because she could sing, and we did some on her. So this was his way, I believe. I could be wrong, but I believe this was his way to get back at Earl because him leaving early on.
So you think?
So Rob gave her an ultimatum. He said, "You gonna sleep on this couch, and I put you on basically. No Earl, no nothing. You don't want to do that. Deals off. Nothing's happened. So obviously you see what happened because after that she never went back home.
Okay, so when Earl talks about when Sparkle started messing with R. Kelly, was he saying, because I took it as they had a sexual encounter?
Oh man, Mr. R. Kelly. To come to find out that him and my wife Sparkle was messing around was my greatest downfall.
I believe Earl is looking at it from a sexual standpoint because if you know Rob, if he's producing any female, 9 times out of 10 he's screwing.
So you believe that he believed that they really were messing around?
Yeah,
sexually.
Nothing on a relationship type of thing, but yeah, they probably had an encounter, but I don't think they had a relationship, not at all.
So you think there was a sexual relationship, not an actual dating relationship?
Right. I mean, if you know Rob, you know if it's a female around, music on 9 times out of 10, he's screwing.
And that's pretty much what Earl was saying in you guys' docu-series. Yeah.
Exactly.
Okay, and so did you happen to see the documentary at all that they did on Lifetime?
Absolutely.
And was there anything that you recalled during that time? Because did you know his wife, Andrea? Did you ever meet her?
Absolutely. I recall majority of people on there lying. Everybody's like telling half truth. They're not telling the truth. So Andrea was a dancer. When she came in as a dancer. Then there were 3 other dancers. And then we go on tour. Now on tour, we on a tour bus. Rob has the back room. All the dancers plus Drea is on the back of the bus. They live with him on the back of that bus. Now, what do you think?
I don't know. You tell me. What was going on back in the bus?
Okay, well, if you're going to say that, and you watch Lifetime, and you're going to say what happened on the back of the bus, then I'm going to say the same thing. I don't know what happened on the back of the bus.
I mean, according to her.
No.
Listen, according to her on the series, she claims she knew nothing about no other girls, that she had no parts in anything. You're saying that she's telling half truths, and that there were some people that were lying. Who was lying?
Well, let's just look at it this way, Neek. If that's the case, then why were all of y'all sleeping on the back of the bus with him? If that's the case, if you didn't know nothing about this, everything was sweet, but all of y'all are sleeping in one bed on the back of the bus. You tell me. I mean, I don't have to say it. I can, but I don't have to. I just don't have to do it. It don't make sense. Let's use our common sense. All y'all were back there. Then one day, out of the blue, she was separated. She stayed on the back of the bus. The girls had to get in the bunks, and all the shenanigans was over. She became number 1. That's how that happened. So at the end of the day, we can all sit here and, and pretend like, she's a total angel and all of this. She's a good person. She's soft spoken, this and that. We would see her in passing, couldn't really look at her because dude was like, don't look at the ceiling. And she was looking at the floor. And, all this kind of shit. So you couldn't really interact with her. But at the end of the day, she knew. That's what I'll say. She knew how it was going. Mm-hmm. And that's real.
So that's really
anybody
true?
Who was really around knows that.
So it's really true that he would tell y'all that y'all can't look at his girls. And y'all can't interact with the girls.
Oh, no, we could never interact. Never.
And that
never. She would be in the house. It's all true what Sparkle said. If she was in a room, she had to call to the other room and ask could she come out. It's true.
So that part is true. So you're saying that part is true, but the part about her not knowing about the girls is not true.
That's not true. Because she was back there with the girls from the very beginning.
Okay. So he had control, but she like you said, telling half truths, not telling the whole truth. And Sparkle was not telling whole truths either.
What she's saying is true. She's just leaving out little parts. Mm-hmm. And Sparkle leaving out the part that I was the reason why she even went down to that second time. I've watched numerous interviews and she keeps saying, oh, I ended up back down there to sing backgrounds. No, you didn't. Mm-hmm. No, you didn't.
And she's I took the tape down and Lou said
tell her to come back. Yeah, exactly. And she's not telling nobody she was married to Earl. She's saying now she was dating somebody in public announcement. No, you were married to that man. Mm-hmm. And then when you went down to the studio, you never went back home.
Mm-hmm. So are they still married to this day?
Absolutely not.
No? Oh, okay.
No.
Yeah, it sounds like a whole bunch of craziness. What I gathered from it and what I wanted people, because people started to talk mess to me because I'm like, you should hear the whole side of the story before forming your opinion. But if you're going to leave out important parts, then how do I know that the parts that you're telling me are all the way credible? That's just, you know what I'm saying? Not to say that R. Kelly is less of a monster. And I keep saying that and I keep trying to reiterate that to people. Like, I'm not saying that he's not, because clearly you're saying that he was controlling and he did have this controlling element to him. And y'all couldn't even interact with his girls too. But my position has always been is, I'm not saying that he's not a monster. I'm just saying that all of the parts need to be told if we're going to tell the story. We can't make ourselves look like we're innocent to down him, to make him look like a monster, because to me, what it sounds like is consenting adults to me.
Right.
Aaliyah was underage. I do know that, and that is wrong. That's very wrong. But to me, it sounded like Drea, she was an old enough consenting adult. Like you said that she knew what was going on before she got involved with him. I just feel like, don't make yourself sound like an angel when you have parts to play in it too. Like, if you're messing with the girls too, tell us that part too. Don't leave that part out. You know, if you have a husband, Sparkle, and you are messing with him, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. I just feel like the whole story should be told if we gonna tell it. That's all.
I mean, but everybody has their own agenda, as you can see from the Lifetime special, man. Nobody's gonna get up there and speak horribly about themselves if there is not some agenda bigger that they can profit from. They're not gonna do it.
What do you think the agenda is with that?
I mean, just like they're talking about Sparkle now, that she put out a record right after the Lifetime special. The record was in the Lifetime special. So now that they on her about that, now she don't want to promote that. But I mean, everybody has an agenda. Mm-hmm. I mean, even the Lisa Van Allen girl, I don't really know her too well, but I have seen her on many occasions when she was grown. and the things that she was doing, which I'm not going to speak on, is pretty much over. But she was grown then, and she was doing some crazy stuff.
With R.
You see what
Kelly,
I'm saying?
or what are you saying?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I've seen it on many occasions. So, but I don't want to taint what they're saying to that degree, because they are women, and they might have started in it young, they might have started in it old. But at the end of the day, they were manipulated. So at the end of the day, for whatever reason, they stayed, but they were manipulated. They weren't quick enough, you know what I'm saying, to actually be up to speed on how this dude mind worked. They weren't up to speed on that, so they got caught up.
I want to talk to you about how you were a part of surviving R. Kelly and they cut you out of it.
I wouldn't say they cut me out. I would say that maybe what my content involved, it was,
I mean, well, you did. I didn't see you on the thing, so they cut you out. Do you believe any of it?
Do I believe it? Here's the way I am. What I won't do is bash him about those allegations. I was there, but I wasn't privy to seeing any of that. I didn't give them any dirt. I don't give dirt on that. I won't do that. So if you look at docu-series, a lot of that was the allegations and what people feel and what they were doing. And I told them I won't do that. And even to this day, I still won't do that. Anything that I'm going to bash him about, it'll be about what happened between me and him. Nope. I won't make accusations of this, that, and the other. It's about me and him. It's about what I couldn't do, what I didn't do, or the management and how they ran things, So that's what the problem would be if there is one. It's me and him. It's me and the management, not what he did with those people. And I'm so blessed. Nowadays, better than God is really helping me understand where I am and how he kept me from that. That I literally say, I didn't see it. I literally can say, I didn't hear it. When that docu-series was happening, I'm sitting watching it and I'm going, I didn't know that. There were things that happened there that I actually thought were rumors. And I don't mean like I heard it through somebody else. That's how it happened. I didn't sit there and go, oh, that looks interesting. I went, oh wait, what happened?
And even the Demetrius guy, we called him Johnny. He was there, but Rob told us he had got. I mean, it was a big thing. I'm not gonna go into it on on this, but it was a big thing. Rob came and told us that Johnny Demetrius was stealing.
Who's the Demetrius guy? I don't remember that.
Yeah, it's the Demetrius dude, the road manager.
Oh, okay.
The road manager. Rob told us he was stealing. After that, he was fired. But it was a lot of other stuff happened after that. But that was the last time we saw Demetrius. He got fired after that. You know what I'm saying? And so I'm saying all this to say that everybody's story ain't 100. It's not 100. People are telling the things that they want people to know to further their agenda. And I get that. I'm not even mad at that. But at the end of the day, I felt some type of way about Sparkle just disregarding her husband, disregarding me taking it down there and acting as though that we had nothing to do with it. She didn't just pop up there. Watch her interview. She always say, oh, I met Kales with a friend, that took me when he was producing Billy Ocean, and then all of a sudden they called me back to sing. Bullshit. Then what happened? I took it there, handed it to him in his hand. But you're not going to mention that. You ain't going to mention your husband. I seen her on interview say, oh, well, I was dating somebody in public announcement. No, you were married to him. You was married to him.
Yeah.
And you never met that. That's bogus. That is ridiculous. Because you wouldn't Sparkle if it wasn't for me and her. You would not even Sparkle.
So basically, she should give you more credit.
Yeah, but it just made me mad, to see her even say that.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, she's gonna do her. It doesn't even matter. It really doesn't. But I know it tears Earl apart. It's probably killing Earl.
Mm-hmm.
But it is. I mean, it is what it is for me. It don't make a difference.
So after you left from dealing with R. Kelly, then where did the road lead you, and how did you guys end up back together to do the docu-series trailer to talk about this? Because when I covered this, I noticed that the date was all the way back in 2017, and I noticed that you guys were putting out this information way before Surviving R. Kelly documentary even was filmed or aired now in 2019. So you guys been working on this. So how did it go from you guys parting ways to then in 2017? I don't know how long you guys worked on it before it actually was put on YouTube, but the first date that I got is 2017. So what happened in that time span for you guys to come back together and say, let's put this information out, the road leading up to there?
Okay, I'm gonna try to speed past, a lot of stuff because you kind of skipped to, quite a few years past. But after I got back with public announcement, we got our deal with Atlantic, and the deal, it got shelved. Then we came back to Chicago, and we were doing shows for a while, and then that kind of died out. So basically, everybody was like wondering what to do at that point. So I'm like, well, I'm finna call dude. You know what I'm saying? And I'm gonna go back and go on tour or something. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna do something. And then I did that. And when I did that, he was like, yeah, come on. And I was back on tour. I think I met him in Detroit at the time he was on the tour. And I think that's when Kerry Kelly, he had been on the tour, but he got fired. For whatever reason, they fell out. He had got fired.
That's R. Kelly's brother?
Yep. That's the brother. And he spoke of being on tour, so I noticed to be true. And I watched the show for like 2 days, and then I was on the show. Just like that. And then I was back in the loop. So from there, Rick started doing his own thing. Earl decided he was going to create a new public announcement. And that's the public announcement that you hear that does the body bumping. I was in that group at the time when they did body bumping, but me and Earl couldn't really get along, so I quit right after I did the vocals. My vocals are still on that body bumping record right now.
Okay.
But I couldn't handle, where Earl was at, you know what I'm saying? So I said screw it at that point. You see what I'm saying? So now, fast forward years ahead, I'm doing film now. Now I'm producing shows. Mm-hmm. Now I'm producing short films. So I came up with, let's do a pilot episode for one of my shows called My Story. This was never supposed to be just a documentary about him. This was just a pilot episode on public announcement in our story. Then I might have done Dina Howard. I might have done, you know what I'm saying? It was hot around that time. And it was going to turn into an actual show.
Ray flew from Atlanta to here, and we actually sat down, wrote out what we were going to do, how we were going to do it. He brought the camera. I supplied the lighting. I supplied the sound. And we actually sat down and scripted what we were going to do, how we were going to do it. I went and cited locations, and we put everything together. He took the entire package, flew back to Atlanta, and started having people work on it.
Okay, so this is something that you guys did it by yourself. Like, we're going to put this out. We're not going to wait for anybody to co-sign this. We're going to do it.
That's why nobody's known about it. It's been out since 2017. Because we weren't pushing it to the people to try to get known. We were shopping it to networks, trying to find a platform. You understand what I'm saying?
Okay, so basically you put out a teaser just to get the networks interested because you wanted to show your story and then develop it into like a series to produce other artist stories. And it wasn't supposed to just be focused on R. Kelly. It was supposed to be a
Right.
series of
Right.
several artists. Okay.
Right.
Okay. So where
And
do you?
that's why my story was never promoted. We put it on YouTube. Sometimes we would let it go live, or I would let it go live, and then sometimes I wouldn't let it go live, and it was just for people to go and take a look at it. You know what I'm saying? In hopes of it getting on the network. But it was never supposed to be this. But when all of this happened, then I felt compelled, like, well, we should tell our story now.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, it looks like the right time now because it's really a lot going on, and in all actuality, right now, out of all the survivors, God bless them, all the survivors and all the girls that went through horrible things, I get it, but at the end of the day, unless there's more girls, that's the end of that story. It's over. Other than the story we have to tell.
Mm-hmm. And the story
There is no other story.
Right.
Because all the people that could tell a story, they're not telling it. They're not gonna tell it. They don't even want nothing to do with it. So the only other story it is our story. You know what I'm saying? Because there's many stories from R. Kelly and public announcement to just public announcement when we were creating our album and situations we've been in with Tupac and Boys to Men and all these different artists. And then even times when I was still with Kills, I mean, no one knows that when Jay-Z came to do Fiesta Remix, Kills wasn't even there. I was there.
Mm-hmm.
Me and Jay are in there. Nobody knows this. It's so many things. I remember when he produced Whitney Houston. I was there.
Mm-hmm.
In the studio. So these are all the things that I'm gonna probably do later. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm putting together my points, like my bullet points for a possible book or whatever the case may be. But I mean, it's just crazy, man. It's crazy.
Yeah, it's a full story. Like I said, I feel like it should be a movie. Like, forget the documentary at this point. Y'all need to contact BET and put together a public announcement, just like they did New Edition, because this story is definitely interesting and it definitely needs to be told on a big platform. I agree. I think that
I know it's something
needed.
that people will find extremely interesting and very shocking at the same time.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And it gives people a good insight on how the music industry works, the ups and downs, and all of that. And at the end of the day, I will say this. Rob is very talented, but he's also very ill.
He's also very what?
He's also very ill. He needs help, man. And people can look at it any kind of way they want to, but this is a mental health issue. This isn't just something, just a monster of a man. No, he has mental issues that need to be dealt with. And I hope that he's able to get help. Because at the end of the day, if I was on here on some clout chasing shit, I would tell everything that I know. I'm not on that. He needs help. We did this shit 2 years ago, 3 years ago. So it got nothing to do with us trying to get on and this, that, and the other. We just fine, man. We're cool. But because all these things have happened, it's best somebody tell a real story. Somebody tell the damn truth.
Out of everybody telling half truths.
Instead of telling half truth, tell the truth. If you're going to tell the truth, tell the truth. You see what I'm saying? And the thing is, people that know the truth won't speak up. And then because we do know the truth, for so long, we probably felt like, screw it, we're not even going to worry about it. But look where it's at now, surviving R. Kelly. I mean, it's done gone too far now. And then I listen to these people saying, oh, well, this is what happened. No, you're lying. This is what happened. You're lying. So why not tell the truth now? Why not? And hopefully it helps some people.
What do you think? Do you think that he should get jail time? Do you think that he should just get psychological help? What type of help do you think is needed at this point?
I mean, yeah. He needs psychological help because this is a mental health issue. I mean, I'm gonna just give you a scenario, and then I'm gonna leave this alone because I don't like talking about this. But Aaliyah, think about her when she did "Age Ain't Nothing But a Number." Respectfully, I say this: visually, a grown man is not going to look at her and find her physically attractive. She had the body of a 15-year-old boy. Why would you find that attractive? And when you look at all the victims now, majority of them, they're not visually, or you're not lusting over their bodies as if they're 15 years old and they look 24. That's not the case. Everybody can see that. So obviously this is deeper. This is something mental. This ain't lust. Like I had that big booty on that girl. It ain't that.
Right.
So if it ain't that, what is it? If it's not that. So at the end of the day, you got to look at it. This is not nothing that's like, oh man, well he was confused. He didn't really know. Come on, man. These little girls looked at like little bitty girls. So there's an issue. And that's just, I mean, it just is what it is. So at the end of the day, I'm not going to sit here, and lie and say, oh, well, I seen him with it. No, I didn't. But I mean, I've never seen nothing inappropriate. But as I'm seeing it come out, and these girls, I'm looking at them, I'm like, why would he want her anyway? And not in a negative way, but what do you see that I'm not seeing? I'm a man. But what's the difference in what you see versus I see? Because if I had to say, I'm walking down the street and visually I'm a man, and men like curvy women, and I look at them, I'm not even going to think twice. I'm not even going to look twice. There's nothing here. They're kids.
The kitty girl was an adult. The
kitty girl has a kitty like mine.
The Asante
She's
girl
just like a child.
Was an adult?
The Asante girl was an adult, but it's the mindset for them. Their mind wasn't up to speed to even understand why am I finna just subject myself to all of this shenanigans? They was cool with it. So that's something to do with their mental health too, right?
Right.
If your mental is one place, you can be of age all day long. You could be 50 and have the age capacity of a 10-year-old. Isn't that not possible?
That's very possible. Yeah.
So at the end of the day, I'm not saying that it was that bad, so I don't want to talk about them in that way, but they weren't up to speed. They weren't ready for his level. They was not ready for that level of manipulation. They wasn't even
so you look at them as being
prepared for nothing
victims?
of that magnitude. Huh?
I said, so you look to them as actual victims, like all of them being victims of him in a way.
He's been victimized mentally. Mentally, they all were victimized. There's guys that's been victimized. I feel at some point in the time that I was there, I was victimized to a certain degree of doing stupid shit, like sitting outside somewhere in a Maybach for hours. Yeah, I was victimized too.
What, like waiting on him or something?
Yeah, you're just waiting on this dude to come out from wherever he was. I'm sitting in the Maybach, and we ride around in Maybach like it was a fucking Chevy. So I'm out there in the Maybach, and he doing whatever, and I'm just sitting there. I feel victimized by that when I look back at it.
Right. Yeah.
But it was what it was. I can't change it.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. I mean, but some of it, self-accountability, Also, I think he, like I said, I ain't trying to take away from him being a monster, but some self accountability and things like that. But I feel like you guys have an amazing story, and I'm so happy that you chose to take up an interview with me. Is there any other things that you want to shed light on as far as like where you are today, where you're going, where you're headed? Because there's a lot of people who counted you guys out because they said that you guys were only backup dancers, you're only backup singers, you're not real talent. Is there anything that you want to let people know now? Is there a direction that you're going with this? Like, expound on that a little bit for the audience.
We're in negotiations on releasing an album. And the main reason why I want to do it is to help people.
Mm-hmm.
But originally, that's what we even got together for. It was to get a record deal. It was to be recording artists and to tour and to do good music, And unfortunately, they short-sighted. All the rumors and things of that nature. It'd be nice to put a kibosh. It'd be nice to let people know, no, that's not what. I get what you believe, I get what you think, but that's not what it is. It'd be nice to do that. But more importantly, we haven't gone anywhere, but it's just a matter of the right timing. And I was actually done. I didn't want to be bothered, but we've talked about it. And at this point, there's been so much doubt and so much pain. I believe wholeheartedly that, God gives you talent, gives you gifts, and these people need to tell their story. So we're actually going to start filming people and releasing series on the people that have been hurt. And there are people in the camp that was in the camp from back in the day, that they're going to be part of what we're doing to tell our story. When you actually see the drummer or the guitarist or, from the actual group, these are the guys that took me and his family. Mm-hmm. So I want them to come in and tell their story. I want them to be acknowledged for the great men that they are. So that's what we're doing alongside, going to find other artists that have struggled through something or that are dealing with things that are hard to surmount and giving God the glory. So we're doing it at Atlanta and Chicago. And big ups to coming up with the idea.
So I really appreciate you giving me a chance to share your story on my platform, because this story is, I feel like, even, bigger than me. I feel like this is something that needs to be in a movie. Like, I feel like this is something that, you have like a true story to tell. And like I said, I'm glad that you allowed me the opportunity to use my platform to tell it.
Right, well, like I was telling my team, they asked me the same question, like, why are you gonna do her show? I'm like, because she's probably the first one, and and if she hadn't have said what she said, everybody would have said we were cloud chasing when this has been out for so long. So for her to recognize that, I'd rather do her platform first before we do anything else, because I appreciate that. Because the time we live in right now with social media, the first thing they would say, them old niggas public announcement, where the fuck they come from?
Mm-hmm.
And now they clout chasing, trying to get on now. No, it wasn't that.
Yeah.
It wasn't.
How did you see my video?
Somehow I ran across it through somebody else's thing. And and then I saw the piece you did with Earl and Sparkle. And I was like, what? You know what I'm saying? I was in shock. So then I was like, let's reach out to her. Because for some reason she's searching for more answers, more so than a lot of the vloggers that I see. They're not looking for the truth. Right. They just want what's fucked up so that their ratings can go up and their clicks can go up. That's all they care about. But you seem to be searching for the truth. Like, look at this story and let's hear all sides. I was with that.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So that's pretty much the reason why we chose to do this first with you, because we ain't really spoke out on no platform other than my story, the doc, and you like the first one for real.
Mm-hmm. Wow. Thank you for that. I appreciate it. Because some just told me, because I had covered this and I got a lot of backlash because I didn't burn R. Kelly to a cross in my other videos. And I talked about accountability, and I talked about how I didn't believe all of the women in being, like some of their stories just did not add up to me. And so that's why I was like, you know what? And I told it on my platform, but because I didn't burn R. Kelly to a cross and say, you know what I'm saying? Like everybody else, I got a lot of backlash. So when it came to, I found out the information about Sparkle, I'm like, do I want to put this out? And I was like, you know what? F it. I'm going to put it out. Like, because I want the truth to be out there. Like, everybody needs to know all sides of the story. And, and people still, even though I was trying to be clear and say, I'm not taking away that this guy is a jacked up individual, but if we're going to form an opinion about a situation, we have to know if there's ulterior motives. We have to know if there's vendettas. We have to know if there's bad blood. We should know that in order to form an opinion about what is going on. Because if we have the full picture, then we can see, okay, this is the mind state of this when this happened. And it doesn't seem like I just ended up here out of the blue, just dropped out of the sky, and then this just happened to me. It's like, no, what led up to that? What happened? Like, what, you know what I'm saying? And so I was like, you know what? F it. I'm going to do it. And thankfully I did it because you guys were able to see it and, reach out to me. So I appreciate that so much.
I appreciate you, man. And continue to keep it real. Search for the truth.
Yeah.
Search for the truth.
Yeah.
And people will respect you more when you do that. Even though they act like they want to hear the bullshit and nothing but the bullshit. But if you keep it real, they'll eventually come to that side and say, I want to know what really happened.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So keep rocking. You rocking.
I will keep on keeping on. And y'all keep on keeping on. And I want to know updates about this movie because this got to be a movie. Okay? This has to be a movie. Thank you so much for taking the time out. I guess I'll end it there. If you have any social media that you want to shout out, if you have any way of being, of people contacting you, if you want people to contact you, maybe you don't want nobody to contact you, I don't know. If you have like Instagram or whatever.
They can hit my Instagram, Giant the R&B Bully.
Okay. Giant the R&B Bully. I'm going to spell it out since you didn't spell it out. So it's GIANT and then THER, the letter N, B, BULLY. That's your Instagram?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yep, absolutely.
Because, people get to typing and they like, wait, what do I put in? What's your social media and everything like that?
Well, that's tough. But
your email.
I'm not one of those. I'm not savvy like that, so I'm not good with it. But the thing I do have is Ricky Rich Instagram.
Okay, how to spell it?
RICKYRYCH. Ricky Rich. RICKYRYCH on Instagram, and the name of the company is Artisans Entertainment, and we'd love to have your comments and help in any way that we can. And thank you for your...
No, thank you, because I had a lot of technical difficulties. You have been very, very, very patient with me. And I'm so appreciative because I had a couple hiccups with this interview and I was like, oh my God, this cannot be happening. And you stuck through it and you have been great to interview. And I really do appreciate you coming along and telling your story. I appreciate it so much.
It is my pleasure. And I want to offer this to you. I know that you're doing it on your own. Mm-hmm. I know that and I understand the pitfalls that you're dealing with. But I want to offer this to you. As the momentum grows, I haven't spoken about this with Dre, but God is pushing me to say this. I like the fact that you pay attention to details, and I understand that you've been getting a lot of flack for saying certain things, or where it seems like you're supporting someone, even though you're not, you're just facing all the facts. I want to offer you some time to work together and actually help you produce your show and put it where you can be a mogul and do things the way that you want to do them. So we offer that to you, and it's just a matter of us talking. So feel free to call, ask questions, and let's work it out so you are where you want to be.
I will take any help that I can. And I definitely will be in contact with you guys. I love what you guys put together on your own. That docu-series trailer, it was definitely, captivating, and it was only 3 minutes, and it has so many people wanting more. So I know the potential that you guys have and everything like that. And I would love the help that, you're able to give to me, and, we can help each other. So
you're in, and that's why I'm offering it to you.
Okay, so as you guys can see, that was a lot of tea to take in. I wish I had a cup of tea right now to sip with y'all and, take all this in. That was a lot of information. So what do you guys think? Because like I said from the very beginning, my position has always been, even though in the comment section, everybody likes to flip my position and try to make my position be a supporting R. Kelly position, I'm not in support of R. Kelly. I'm always and forever on my channel in support of the truth. If you're going to tell a story, my position has always been on all of the stories that I cover, I want to know the truth. I'm not going to form my opinion on something based on a bandwagon. I'm not going to form my opinion on something based on this is how Lifetime tells me to think, so this is what I'm going to think. I'm going to use my brain. I'm going to listen to the stories, and I'm going to figure out, okay, I feel for this family. Okay, this part don't sound like a victim. Okay, this part, that person doesn't really sound like they're telling the truth. I'm going to use my brain. So if if it's a problem with me using my brain, then hey, it is what it is. And I'm glad that I got a clear picture, and hopefully you guys now can form an opinion on the situation. Because, I did the research for y'all, okay? All right, guys, that's all for this video. Be sure to hit that subscribe button and hit the share button. Share my videos. Sharing my videos helps me out a great deal. Subscribing to my channel helps me out a lot. And commenting and engaging in the comment section. Even if you don't agree with my position, still talk about it in the comment section. Everybody's entitled to their opinion, just like I'm entitled to my opinion. Let's talk about it. Let's have dialogue in the comment section. All right, guys. Peace.